If you've ever found yourself, nervously refreshing a flight booking page, just watching the price jump 50 bucks for no reason at all, then you know the feeling.
It's designed to feel that way. It creates this feeling of, I don't know, chaos. Like you need to be a stock trader just to buy a plane ticket.
Exactly.
I
And
just
it's
think
just
that
it's just not right. So our mission today in this deep dive is to cut right through all that noise. We've gone through Google Flights data, expert takes from Forbes Advisor, the Points Guy, all of it to build you a real actionable strategy.
And the most important thing to get from the start is that this pricing, it isn't random. Not at all.
Yeah.
It's driven by very specific, mathematical systems. We're going to show you the science behind it so you can stop guessing and start using the system to your advantage.
Okay, let's get right into that with part one. We have to tackle this myth, this idea that's been around for decades.
Yeah.
The day you book. We've all heard it, right? Book on a Tuesday.
Right, the Tuesday myth. If you're still clearing your cookies and going into incognito mode every Tuesday morning, you can probably stop. The data just doesn't really support it.
But there is some truth to it, isn't there? I mean, it had to come from somewhere.
A little bit. I mean, Google Flights looked at years of historical data, and yes, technically, Tuesday is the cheapest day to book, and Sunday is the most expensive.
But what are we actually talking about in terms of savings?
It's so small, it's almost meaningless. The difference is only about 1.3%.
1.3%.
Yeah. So you're saving maybe a couple of bucks on a flight. Your time is worth more than that. The real leverage isn't the day you book.
Okay, but I have to ask, if these pricing algorithms are so sophisticated, why is there even a 1.3% difference at all? Shouldn't it be zero?
That's a great question. It's likely just a small leftover from older airline practices before everything was so automated. Or maybe it's just human behavior. People plan their vacations over the weekend, so demand is slightly higher on a Sunday.
So the takeaway is, don't worry about the day you click buy.
Exactly. The real savings, the big lever you can pull, is changing the day you actually fly.
Right. And this is the first huge takeaway for you.
Absolutely. If you can shift your travel to a Monday, Tuesday, or a Wednesday, you are looking at savings of around 13%.
13%. That's huge compared to 1.3.
It's massive. Flying on a Sunday is the most expensive, with Friday right behind it.
Yeah.
So yeah, midweek travel is where you'll find instant, real savings.
Okay, so that's the day. Now let's talk about the golden rule, the booking window. How far out do we actually need to be buying these tickets?
The data gives us a surprisingly specific target. For domestic flights here in the U.S., the sweet spot, the lowest prices, are usually found between 23 and 51 days out.
So a pretty tight window.
A very tight window. And the average cheapest day, the real bullseye you want to aim for, is 39 days before your flight.
39 days. That's so specific. I love it. What about for bigger international trips? Does that window shift?
It does. You need a much longer lead time. For international flights, you generally want to book 49 days or more in advance. We see prices start to climb pretty consistently once you get inside that 50-day window.
And I saw there was an exception in the data, right? For places like Mexico or the Caribbean.
Yes, for those high-volume leisure spots, the window is a little more relaxed. It's lowest between 26 and 79 days out, with the average best day being around 50 days. Basically, there are so many flights that the airlines can afford to keep prices lower for a bit longer.
What about the holidays? That's when everyone gets stressed. Does the timeline just go out the window?
It shifts earlier, but not by as much as you'd think. There's still a window. For Thanksgiving, you want to be looking around 35 days out. So that's late September, early October.
And for Christmas?
For Christmas, it's about 51 days out. So you should be ready to buy sometime between mid-October and mid-November.
So the lesson isn't book your holiday travel in July. It's just to hit that specific 6-week window.
Precisely. And speaking of specific, here's another easy win. Layovers.
Ah, the classic time versus money trade-off. How much is a layover actually worth in cash?
On average, booking a flight with at least one stop can save you around 22% compared to a nonstop flight.
22%. That is a huge incentive to just spend an extra hour or two in an airport.
It really is. It shows you the airline is pricing based on what you value. And if you value money more than time, there's a discount waiting for you.
This all brings us to part two. Why? Why does the price jump so dramatically? What is this engine that's driving everything? And the answer is something called yield management.
This is where we get into the real economics of it. Yield management, or YM, is this incredibly complex pricing strategy that lets an airline maximize every dollar they can get from a plane full of seats.
It sounds technical.
It is, but the idea is simple. The guy who pioneered it at American Airlines, Robert Crandall, He called it the single most important development since deregulation. And it's really just about price discrimination.
Meaning two people on the same row could have paid totally different prices.
Wildly different prices. And for YM to work, you need 3 conditions, and they perfectly describe an airline. First, you have a fixed amount of resources, a set number of seats.
Okay, that makes sense.
Second, those resources are perishable. Once that cabin door closes and the plane takes off, an empty seat is worthless. You can't sell it again.
And the third piece?
The third is that different customers will pay different prices for the exact same thing. The vacationer booking 39 days out wants the absolute cheapest fare. But the business traveler whose company is paying, they'll pay a fortune to get on tomorrow's flight.
So how does the airline software actually use this? How does it decide when to raise the price?
It's all about watching the booking curve. The airline knows how many seats it should have sold by a certain date. They release the cheap tickets first to get cash in the door and start filling the plane.
But they hold some back.
Oh yeah, they deliberately hold back a block of seats for that high-fare last-minute demand they know is coming.
So as soon as the plane starts filling up, the algorithm goes, okay, we don't need to be cheap anymore.
Exactly. The capacity is getting tight, so the price goes up because the system is confident it can sell those last few seats for a premium. It's not chaos. It's incredibly disciplined economics.
And knowing that is, I think, really empowering. It's not personal. It's just a predictable reaction to supply and demand. And it's not just airlines using this anymore, is it?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Once it worked for airlines, it spread like wildfire. Hotels, rental cars, even inner-city buses like Megabus, ski resorts, pet boarding. Anywhere you have a fixed perishable resource, you'll probably find some form of yield management at work.
Amazing. So YM controls the price of a single seat. But what if you could essentially make the price of a second seat 0? That brings us to part 3, and maybe the ultimate travel hack, mastering the Southwest Companion Pass.
The Companion Pass, or CP, it's just a total game changer for domestic travel. It lets the pass holder bring a designated companion with them on any flight for free. You just pay the taxes and fees.
And how much is that usually?
Domestically, it's $5.60 each way.
That's it, and it's unlimited.
It's unlimited. It doesn't matter if you paid cash or used points for your own ticket. As long as there is a seat for sale on that plane, your companion can take it. There are no blackout dates, no special fare classes.
That's incredible value. How do you get one?
You need to earn 135,000 Companion Pass qualifying rapid rewards points within a single calendar year.
135,000. That sounds like a lot.
It is, but there's a boost. If you have a Southwest credit card, they give you a 10,000-point head start each year, so you really only need to earn 125,000.
Okay, now this next part is the really critical timing trick, the hack that makes this worth nearly 2 full years of travel.
This is the key. The pass is valid for the rest of the year you earn it in, plus the entire next year. So the strategy is to make sure your 135,000th point hits your account in early January.
So you do all the work now, but you time it so the reward posts in the new year.
Exactly. You would typically open the cards you need, usually a personal and a business card, sometime after October 1st. You do most of the spending, but you carefully time those last purchases, so the big welcome bonuses post to your account in, say, January of the next year.
So if I hit the target in January of 2026, my pass is good for all of 2026 and all of 2027.
All the way until December 31st, 2027. Almost 2 full years of 2-for-1 flights. The main way people do this, the big shortcut, is by earning those huge welcome bonuses from the credit cards.
Now, there's a really important rule here that people who use other rewards programs might mess up.
This is vital. Points that you transfer in from other programs like Chase Ultimate Rewards or Bilt, they do not count.
So you can't just top up your account from Chase to get over the line.
Correct. Those transferred points are great for booking flights, but they are worth 0 for actually qualifying for the Companion Pass. You have to earn the points through Southwest, either by flying using their shopping portal or, most importantly, their credit cards.
Got it. Once you have it, you can change your companion a few times a year, right?
Up to 3 times per calendar year. And any perks you have, like free check bags, those apply to your companion too.
But the #1 rule always is.
The companion cannot fly without you. You have to be on the plane together.
Of course. Okay, that's fantastic. So now we know the timing, the economics, and a huge loyalty hack. Let's get into the practical side in part 4. The tools you need and the trade-offs you have to make.
Right. To find these deals and track prices, your first stop should be Google Flights. It's just the best for setting price alerts. And the most useful feature, I think, is the date grid.
The date grid, yeah.
It just visually shows you Plain as day. How moving your flight by a day or two can save you money. It makes finding those cheap midweek flights super easy.
And for the real power users, the people with very specific needs.
For them, there's a tool called the ITA Matrix. It's much more advanced. It lets you write your own rules for a search. You can say, show me flights on American or Delta, nonstop only, and I refuse to connect through Charlotte.
Wow, so you can really dial it in.
You can build your own logic. It's for people who value efficiency just as much as price. Now, the other big choice is where you're actually collecting your points. This really comes down to two camps: flexible cards or co-branded cards.
Let's start with the flexible ones.
So flexible cards like a Chase Sapphire Preferred or an Amex Platinum, they earn points you can transfer to lots of different airlines. They're perfect if your loyalty tends to jump around. Maybe you fly United this month, Delta the next. You want that versatility.
So you're not locked into one airline that might raise its prices.
Exactly. You're hedging your bets. Plus, the really high-end ones like the Amex Platinum come with great perks like broad airport lounge access, which can be a huge deal.
And on the other side, you have the co-branded cards.
Right. Card tied to one airline, like United or Southwest. These are for the loyalists. Person who lives near a hub and flies that one airline all the time. You give up flexibility, but you get immediate, tangible perks every time you fly.
Like what kind of perks are we talking about?
The big one is free checked bags. For a family, that can save hundreds of dollars a year. Priority boarding, maybe a companion discount ticket if you spend enough. For the loyal flyer, those everyday benefits can be way more valuable than transfer options.
That makes a lot of sense. So, finally, a reality check. You can book the perfect flight, but travel can still be a nightmare because of delays and congestion. Based on the data, where should people be preparing for the worst, especially over the holidays?
Yeah, this is about managing your own expectations. A few cities consistently pop up as the worst for holiday travel because of high costs and airport issues. The list includes Dallas, Memphis, Houston, Phoenix, and Birmingham.
Dallas and Houston are huge hubs.
They are. Dallas-Fort Worth in particular is a massive connecting hub for American. When things go wrong there with weather or whatever, it just ripples across the entire country. The system has very little slack.
So if you're flying through there over Christmas, pack your patience.
Pack your patience in an extra power bank. Absolutely.
Okay, let's wrap this up with the 3 most powerful, actionable strategies from today. First, stop worrying about what day you book. Focus on the booking window. Aim for 39 days out for domestic and 49 days or more for international.
Second, change the day you fly. Just by moving your trip to a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, you can find an instant 13% savings. That's your direct counterattack to yield management.
And third, if you fly Southwest, use that Companion Pass timing hack. Earning your qualifying points in early January gives you almost 2 full years of 2-for-1 flights. Understanding that the system is predictable, not random, is the key to all of this.
Right, and we spent all this time talking about airline seats, which are a perfect example of a fixed, perishable resource. But now that you know the rules fix capacity, it expires, and people will pay different prices for it. Think about this. What else in your life works that way? Maybe a spot in popular fitness class, a last-minute appointment with a specialist, even a subscription service. What if the next big hack is figuring out their hidden pricing strategies, all based on the same principles we talked about today?